The Canucks fall flat in Nashville, drop a 2-1 decision to the Predators. It's the end of the road trip, but it's the start of Rink Wide Vancouver. And we welcome you inside the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios in downtown Vancouver. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. I'm Jeff. He's Irf. It's Rink Wide Vancouver. It's brought to you in part by Bet365. And do you remember when the Canucks were 3-0 on this road trip?
I do remember when they were 3-0 on this road trip. Seems like it was a long time ago.
Yeah, and then the goals stopped and the wind stopped too. And the Canucks just couldn't get anything going in a sluggish night of hockey in Music City. Predators beat the Canucks by a score of 2-1. We're here to break it all down. We'll have our usual features. We'll find 3 stars somehow, some way. There were 3 goals. And we'll get to the stat that stands out. And I think on this night, Irf, it's not about Elias Pettersson and his 5-on-5 ice time. It is about Elias Pettersson and his power play ice time, but not just EP40 in isolation. It's that first unit that had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity and did absolutely nothing with it. The Canucks had 8.5 minutes of power play time, including 90 seconds of 5-on-3, and they generated 4 shots on goal.
Yeah, it was stunk. Like, it just wasn't good, flat out. And look, I think obviously, well, actually, Jacob, do we have it? Let's play this clip right away. This is Elias Pettersson after the game against the Pittsburgh Penguins when the Canucks lost. So after the game on Tuesday night.
Well, it starts with me. If I win if I win more draws, we start with the puck. I think I don't even know, 1 for 5. That's not good enough. We keep having to break the puck in instead of starting with the puck in defense on this one, but. And when we get to shot opportunities, the main thing starts with me winning the draw and start from there.
Get the shot opportunities.
And the biggest thing, it starts with me. And so he knows. He obviously knows how much he means to this team and what he needs to do in order to be better. He was 11 wins, 11 losses, 50% of the faceoff circle, 1 shot on net. Yeah. 6 minutes and 19 seconds of power play time. 1 shot on net for Elias Pettersson. It's just not good enough.
It's not. And I just feel like we're all exhausted in this market after the last 48 hours about Petey and his ice time. He has to be better. There's no doubt about it. He's got 1 goal 8 games into the season. Now, they came off the road trip. They won more than they lost. I get that. They're a 500 hockey club at the 8-game mark. All is not lost here. But they have 2 goals in their last 2 games, and they're coming home and running headlong into the Montreal Canadiens and, the Edmonton Oilers. So it's not like it gets any easier for this Vancouver hockey club that's down a bunch of players. We get all of that. But to bring it back to the point we're making, and I think we're going to continue to dive in and want your thoughts here as well. I mean, what are you seeing? What aren't you seeing on a power play that has 8.5 minutes of opportunity? And again, 90 seconds, 5-on-3, and they just stuck to the perimeter. Garland to Hughes, Hughes back to Garland. Some teams make the 5-on-3 look so easy and it's breathtaking, and you're like, holy crap, how do they do that? You don't say that about the Canucks when they're up a couple of men here. And so I do want to slightly tilt the conversation, and EP40 is part of it. But Quinn Hughes wasn't very good in this hockey game.
Nope.
And Quinn Hughes, quite frankly, hasn't been very good through 8 games. At least measured against his own expectations and the expectations that we as a market have on the captain. And so much talk coming into the season about this year going right to keep him happy, but he's got to do his part as well. And so it can't always be piling on the guy that wears number 40. It's a team game, and they've got Hughes, they've got Pettersson, they've got Garland, they have DeBrusk, and they got Brock Besser back. That's as good as it's going to get for the Vancouver Canucks.
True.
When it comes to loading up a first-unit power play. Not good enough, but it's as good as it gets for this hockey club in the here and now. And so lots of culprits, plenty to go around on a night when they only muster 1 goal. And it's Max Sasson leading the road trip with 3 for the Vancouver Canucks. good for Max, but the conversation is coming right back to the top of the lineup, power play opportunities. We know it's going to be a grind with the players that they're missing, so you turn to the power plays and you think that's where you cash in a goal here. Dare I get greedy and think 2 goals for the Vancouver Canucks with the man advantage? Maybe it's a different story. Not a different story. Win their first 3, they lose their last 2, and again, they're limping home, literally, figuratively, and quick turnaround to the back end, weekend back-to-backs here. So difficult slog ahead for the Vancouver Canucks. That's life. Have you heard? It's a compressed schedule.
Yeah, big one. And 2 pretty good teams coming in on the weekend here in Vancouver.
Yeah. Again, hit us up with the Super Chat. Want to hear what you've got to say about this team and kind of where it's starting to turn now for the Vancouver Canucks, and how confident are you that can turn back in the other direction? It is a long season. They're 8 games in, so they're basically a 10th of the way through their schedule. But we want your thoughts with the Super Chat. Our charity partner this season, the BC Mental Health Foundation, changing the face of mental health and addiction by supporting breakthroughs in care, public understanding, research, and knowledge exchange. And so this idea that, hey, Brock Boeser is back after the 2-game personal leave, that was good. Brock ended up with a bunch of shots, including one at the buzzer that, again, could have turned the outcome of the hockey game. 4 shots, 7 attempts. I mean, that's what you want to see from Brock Boeser. He played 20 minutes, but for me, it comes back to this power play that generated 4 shots on goal in 8.5 minutes with the man advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Brock had 4 shots on net, and the one at the end of the game, that's what you want, right? He had a chance to muscle it through. Saros made a nice save there. Yep. But in the end, it was too little too late. And you're right, it does go back to the power play. Nashville's not a good team. Their PK's not very good. They got a good goalie, but that's about it. Like, the Canucks had a golden opportunity to work on your special teams, to go and try and do something different, but they lack creativity in that department. It's stagnant. It's perimeter. It's everybody sitting and watching Quinn Hughes. Don't get me wrong. I like doing it too. It's great. Quinn Hughes ain't the Quinn Hughes of last year right now. Nope. He surely hasn't shown it. So you got to get someone else involved. Net front presence, Evander Kane, if that's going to be the case, or someone else. Tyler Myers was in front of the net, for goodness sake, at the end of the game, just trying to figure something out. But it's tough to watch because the talent on this team is definitely there. I mean, you named it earlier. You know, you have the Garlands, you have the Besters, you have the Petey's, the Quinns, and, you know, the Evander Kanes of the world, Jake DeBrusk of the world. Jake DeBrusk, quiet night for Jake DeBrusk. Didn't really notice him too much. I understand some of these guys are streaky scorers, and, you know, Brock and Jake DeBrusk, but unfortunately, streaky scoring isn't going to help you win hockey games or make the playoffs.
And I can feel it through the live stream here. Viewers and listeners are going, you guys are missing the plot here entirely. No, we're not. We got the plot. So the power play was terrible, and then it gave up a shorthanded goal on top of that. So the power play that we're talking about can't generate. It got scored on. Now, it was the second unit. Again, we'll excuse the top unit guys there, not for not scoring, but they weren't on the ice with the shorthanded goal. We're watching the replay on the live stream. Philip Aronik with the headman pass. Arshdeep Bains, he had trouble corralling it. Kiefer Sherwood there as well. And there's the veteran, Ryan O'Reilly, off to the races the other way, gets his 3rd of the season. Shorthanded, open the scoring, 9 minutes into the second period. A game that felt for the longest time like 1 goal might be it. Like, we might be witnessing a game that was decided 1-0 either way, or maybe in a shootout. Who knows? Anyways, there were 3 goals scored in this one. Nashville gets 2 of them, and Preds beat the Canucks by a score of 2-1. So that's back-to-back losses for the Vancouver Canucks as they wrap up the road trip. And again, the trip itself, you call it a success with 3 wins, 6 points out of 10, but they had 6 through the first 3 games and a chance to really kind of make a statement about this road trip and keeping momentum and all that kind of stuff. And they flush it with a bad loss in Pittsburgh. This one not as bad, just boring. It wasn't a very good hockey game. And they've lost 3 of the last 4 to the Predators, who took 2 of 3 last season, and now they get the leg up here. Canucks will be back. This is weird. The Canucks will be back in Nashville on November 3rd.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's October the 23rd. They're racing home for a 3-game homestand, and then they're right back out on the road, St. Louis, Minnesota, and the next trip wraps up in Nashville as well. So basically 10 days from now, they'll be back for a rematch against the Predators. Ryan O'Reilly and Cole Smith, the goal scorers. Max Sasson with the only goal for the Vancouver Canucks on the night. And that's it. 2-1 is the final score. KP in the chat saying, where are we on the Juju meter, Irf?
Very low. You get the brakes beaten off of you in Pittsburgh, and you come back, and this is the effort that you have? I get it. Long road trip, five gamer. You won 3. The road trip's already a success. I know by all accounts, probably by their standards, you get 6 points. But still, like, it was an ugly hockey game. And sometimes in the NHL, you got to win an ugly hockey game. And they had every opportunity to go and do that. And I think that that's where the frustration is. So Juju meter is pretty low.
Let's just get some of these numbers out of the way. We'll get to a stat that stands out a little bit later on. But Elias Pettersson, if you're asking, 20 minutes and 35 seconds. So not an issue. They played him. He got up over 20 minutes. That's what you want. 13 minutes and 3 seconds at even strength. 6 minutes and 19 seconds on the power play, but it comes back to the point that you made. Exactly 1 shot on goal. He had 4 attempts, and the 1 shot came late. Like, it was midway through the third. We were charting, was he going to get a shot on the night, and it came in the third period. So for a guy who himself, we played the clip, he knows that he needs to do more. He said, I'm going to shoot more, and the proof's in the pudding. And through 8 games, he's not shooting more. And nobody was shooting. I mean, they got outshot 35-21. I know Adam Foote with the lengthy explanation about his ice time and, talking about difficult matchups and fatigue and all that kind of stuff. Well, the trip started really difficult on the logistics side. 3 games in 3.5 days. We discussed that to death. We gave them credit. They found a way to grind out all 3 wins. Since Sunday afternoon, though, like, they finished mid-afternoon in Washington, had the rest of Sunday. Monday was a day off. Tuesday was a night off in Pittsburgh, essentially. Had a practice on Wednesday. But, I mean, the last 3 days has basically been pretty standard, par for the course in the National Hockey League. So, yeah, it's cumulative. I get that. But it's also 8 games into the season. Like, this idea that they just had nothing left in the tank. What's going to happen this weekend? Like, the game in Pittsburgh the other night was their 4th game in 6 nights, right? Dallas to Chicago to Washington to Pittsburgh. 4 games in 6 nights. Well, in this compressed schedule, guess what? Tuesday night in Pittsburgh, Thursday night in Nashville, Saturday, Sunday, home to Montreal. The game against Edmonton is also 4 and 6. If the game in Pittsburgh was an indication of what happens when this team is tired, McDavid and Draisaitl and the rest of them are calling here on Sunday night. Now, it is back-to-back for the Oilers as well, but this is life. In an Olympic year, there are going to be stretches like this one, and I know that the lineup is depleted, so that's why it almost underscores this need for more from the top of your lineup.
The 2 teams that they have coming in as we're doing this have already combined for 7 goals through 2 periods of play. That's Edmonton and Montreal. Like, they score, and they're good at scoring goals. The Vancouver Canucks right now aren't, and it showed over the last 2 games. The Nashville Predators, by all accounts, should be an inferior opponent to the Vancouver Canucks. When you look at it, there's no way about it. The Canucks' top-end talent, offense and defense, and goaltending is probably better than the Nashville Predators, right? Philip Forsberg maybe takes the cake over the Canucks' top offensive guy, but easily defensively and goaltending, the Canucks have the advantage there. Canucks had an advantage. I'm sticking with the special teams battle. You can win a lot of games. If you're not winning games 5-on-5, you better sure as hell win a game in the special teams battle, and they weren't able to do that. And look, I think that we always, we're going to sit here, and a lot of people want to talk about Elias Pettersson, $11.6 million, but like you mentioned, Quinn Hughes hasn't been good. He was visibly frustrated after the game, smashed his stick near the end with the 9 seconds left before the draw. When there was that icing call, he slammed the puck all the way around the boards. He was pissed at the end. Obviously, you love to see that emotion from the captain, but you also want to see that emotion on the ice when he's, edge of your seat, when he's must-see TV. 8 games through the NHL season, we haven't seen that once yet, Jeff.
No, and, I just look at Quinn Hughes and the numbers. Like, his only goal so far, the empty netter in Dallas, he's not alone.
No.
At the 8-game mark, Elias Pettersson has the 1 goal. Came in Washington. Great. Nice start that afternoon or morning out here, but that's it. That's Petey's only goal. Jake DeBrusk, you mentioned him. He has 1 goal.
Mm-hmm.
Power play goal. So 5-on-5, nothing for Jake DeBrusk 8 games into the season. And Evander Kane. Evander Kane posing for picks on this road trip, and that's got people talking. But really, you'd like to be talking about more of a contribution from their big offseason acquisition, and it hasn't been enough. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and isolate Evander Kane because there's not enough from a bunch of guys. No. But 8 games in, and still looking for that first one for Evander Kane. So there's lots of guys here that aren't carrying their weight and just aren't getting it done. And this was a very winnable game at the end of the road trip. They weren't going to win them all. So you lose to Pittsburgh. You want to see some sort of response. And they were getting outshot 10-2 at one point early in this hockey game. Like, that's the response to a dreadful performance in Pittsburgh the other night. And you rested your best players, as we heard, down the stretch because you knew this game was coming. And then the shots were 10-2 for the Predators halfway through the first period.
And here's the other thing. Like, this is even furthering down the road of conversation. This team is what it is. Like, this is a team as assembled. Bluger's hurt, Lekkerimäki's hurt, Keitel's hurt. There's no magical center that's going to come and save this hockey team. Wenberg ain't going to do it. Novak ain't going to do it. We also have Middlestat and Pavel Zacha. They're not coming in to save this team. I'm just throwing names out there because they've been obviously in the news and, affiliated with the Vancouver Canucks a little bit. But those guys aren't coming in to save this team. The only way this team is going to get better is from those guys in the room. So take a look in the mirror type of game where you just mentioned it, a winnable hockey game, especially with what was said after Pittsburgh, I think. And you go and you have an effort like you did. It was an ugly hockey game. And yeah, granted, credit to Nashville. They don't play Barry Trotz's teams, and they don't play fun hockey. It's ugly. It has been. It always has been. But if you're the Vancouver Canucks, you got to find a way. You got to find a way to try and squeak one out. You got to try and find a way to get a little bit more shots on net. They had 29, blocked or missed?
Yep.
And 21 on net. That's still not good enough. The Preds, for their lack of offense that they have, threw over 30 at Thatcher Demko. Like, how are they able to get it happening?
Demko got wolfed.
Yeah.
He got Dustin wolfed in this game. I mean, he does his part. Winning goal barely crosses the goal line. We really haven't broken down the goals. We talked about O'Reilly's a little bit, but Thatcher Demko, second time this year, also in Edmonton, where the team's only scored a single goal for him. He's done his part, kept the Canucks in it, give them a chance, and yet, ask Dustin Wolf, it's difficult to win when your team only scores a single goal. All right, let's get to the 3 stars. 3 stars here on Rink Wide are brought to you by Greta Bar YVR. Great place to catch all the games, walking distance from the rink and the stadium, or if you're looking for a place to watch games on TV, busy sports weekend coming up, Greta's got you covered. All kinds of big screens for all the action, plus there's the great street food menu that we always talk about, weekly drink specials. There are game day specials as well, the arcade games. If you haven't checked it out, do so soon. Greta Bar, the place to be, with 50 West Cordova. Greta Bar, let the games begin. All right, 3 stars selected by Sean Smith of Penalty Box Radio in Nashville. Clean sweep for the home team. Cole Smith, UC Saros, Ryan O'Reilly. I think in a 1-goal game with 3 goals, I don't know, we thought you'd find a Canuck, and we did. So Cole Smith gets the game winner. He had 3 hits, and again, was he the best player on the ice? I don't know. I'm not sure I don't know if you got to identify a best player on the ice in this game.
Couldn't.
Max Sasson, though, gets the goal. The speed has been evident. Scored the partial breakaway goal in Dallas this time. 50 pass from Linus Karlsson, banks it, kind of read the play perfectly, long stretch pass, and Sasson skates onto it. Goes 5-hole on UC Saros, only goal to get past the Nashville netminder, and there is the grizzled veteran Ryan O'Reilly. Opens the scoring, gives Nashville the jump start that it's looking for. Now, the lead only lasted for 2.5 minutes, but again, Predators didn't ever trail in this hockey game, and Ryan O'Reilly was the guy that broke the ice with the first one, so this Predators team struggles to score as well. I think that's 5th time in 7 games now that they've been held to 2 or fewer, and that's why I say, like, this was there for, and maybe not even winning, but just get the second goal, get it to overtime, take your chances, and get a single point and come on home. Anyways, there you go, the 3 stars. Cole Smith, Max Sasson, and Ryan O'Reilly.
You're taking a look at the only clear-cut winner that wants to have a 20-goal season right now in Max Sasson for the Vancouver Canucks. Like, who are your guys? Like,
hey, he's off to an
he's
incredible
playing well,
start.
man.
Like, it doesn't make the team out of camp, gets recalled. joins them on the road trip, and he's got 3 goals. He's one off the team lead now, behind Kiefer Sherwood, which, again, sort of speaks to where this hockey club is. Good for Sherwood, good for Sasson, but they need some of those other names that are getting paid and that we've talked about, putting the puck in the net. Super chat from Free PD, and says your post-game more entertaining than the actual games. Look, the last 2 haven't been very good. And in a long season, you're going to get some duds, but fingers crossed that there's a little more excitement and a little more activity offensively for the Vancouver Canucks, because I don't want to sit here on a nightly basis banging our head on a wall about power play that doesn't just not score goals, but doesn't generate anything in the way of good quality looks. So thank you from Free PD, contribution to the BC Mental Health Foundation.
Have we seen in a game, I know you and I, when we did our preview show, I said I want to see what player on a night like tonight, a Thursday night in Nashville, can grab a game and take it over. I don't think we've seen it happen yet this season from the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood's had, good games.
Yep.
Max Hassan's been okay, but they lost. But I don't think there's been anybody where you can look to, whether it's the leadership group or whether it's someone else, that has said, okay, we need you, we need this, I got this, and you guys are coming with me. Thatcher Demko on occasion, but Thatcher Demko's going to do that every night. Yeah. We know that.
I think Connor Garland, the last 2 games, his play has tailed in. He scored in Pittsburgh the other night, but he hasn't been as noticeable, as effective. I think Kiefer Sherwood gives you what he can, but I also wonder if the heavy workload for a guy that's not used to it was catching up to him, because I didn't really notice him an awful lot in this hockey game, although both he and Drew O'Connor had shorthanded chances in the second period when it was still a scoreless hockey game, and again, what might have been. Drew O'Connor's way down the list just in terms of expectations, but comes in on a 2-on-1 and just drills Saros right in that, put the puck in the Predator's mouth, essentially.
It couldn't have been any easier.
No, make the goalie make a save, and then Sherwood with the breakaway. You're not going to score them all. We've already seen him score a shorthanded goal this year, so hard to knock Kiefer Sherwood back in Nashville against his former team. He would have loved to get this one. Wasn't to be for the Vancouver Canucks. Going to get to the stat that stands out, and there are a lot of different ways we could have gone here. Just looking at the underlying numbers. At 5-on-5, the scoring chances, 30-11 in favor of the Predators. So, it's a 2-1 hockey game, but territorially, Preds controlled 62% of all shot attempts in this hockey game. The high danger is a little bit closer there, 7-5. But the expected goals, basically 2-1 at 5-on-5. And, of course, the goals were 1-1, 5-on-5, and then the shorthanded goal as well. So, Adam Foote has his work cut out for him. If it's ice time one night, then it's the power play another. This is life in the National Hockey League, and it's the coach's job, not just Foote, his coaching staff, though. They've got to figure it out. But ultimately, there's only so many X's and O's. These guys have all played the game for years. They're paid to go and produce, and it is that top of the lineup that has to find a way to be the difference maker.
Well, even furthering it, and I know you've probably already seen this, but the high danger chances on the power play, just 2 for the Vancouver Canucks. That in itself isn't good enough. You have 5 in the game, 2 of them in 8:30 of power play time. Again, just not good enough. And there are answers. Yep. There are going to have to be answers. The head coach is going to have to come up with them. And his 2 assistants are going to have to help him. And then it's going to be up to the guys to try and implement some sort of semblance, because they're going to get 2 teams that are coming in here with pretty big aspirations. One, Stanley Cup champion, and the other one to get past the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the Montreal Canadiens might be the most entertaining team in the National Hockey League. Well, maybe it's the San Jose Sharks on a night like tonight.
Oh, yeah.
But, I had somebody point out, and the point is a decent one, that there is so much good young talent in the National Hockey League right now. And if we're talking 25 and under, you're not seeing a lot from the Vancouver Canucks. Lekker-Mackey's injured right now. Wielander hasn't had a chance yet to play, and Braden Coots got his 3 games. But in terms of guys who are difference makers, like the Anaheim Ducks, young guys, they are going now. And we've talked a lot about that. Will the Canucks have to look over the shoulder at Anaheim all season long? All of a sudden, the Sharks get a hat trick from Macklin Celebrini. He's got 2 now as a teenager. A crazy night at Madison Square as the Sharks beat the Rangers. Rangers still can't win at home. They're probably happy to be coming out west now because at least they've found some success away from home. But Anaheim beats Boston 7-5. San Jose knocks off the Rangers 6-5. Utah scored 7 tonight. Like, there were a bunch of goals being scored around the National Hockey League, and then you look at the dud in Music City, and it's 2-1 for the Nashville Predators. Updated power play numbers for the Vancouver Canucks on the season. 0 for 5 in this hockey game. They're now 4 for 28, and that tells you that 14.3%. Again, if there were injuries that impacted the top unit, you could use that as a crutch, but that's one area where the injuries really don't impact the Vancouver Canucks, and 14.3% is not what they are looking for. The other issue here, this was a problem in Pittsburgh the other night. It was a problem again in this hockey game. It's going to be an ongoing issue for the Vancouver Canucks, and it is worth monitoring because they are now dead last in the NHL in faceoffs, and they got worked again tonight, 19-28, so that's 40% in this hockey game, and they came into the night tied with Buffalo at 42.9 for the season as a team. Sabres weren't playing, so the Canucks were under 42.9. It'll drop. I haven't seen an updated number, but regardless, you want to be a lot closer to 50%. Toss up, take your chances. But at 40%, that's a league low. That is an area of concern. But I don't know how you expect it to get a whole lot better. Petey went 11-11. Like, he held up his end of the bargain. Atu Ratu was okay. I think he was 6-4 on the night. But as much as we like Max Sasson and the goal and the hustle and everything else, part of playing center at the NHL level is being able to hold your own. And he got worked again. He won 1 of 6 faceoffs in this hockey game. So, they played him higher in the lineup. He got an opportunity between Besser and DeBrusque with mixed results. The goal didn't come with that line on the ice. I'm not here to knock Max Sasson, but it is worth, if he's going to win 1 of 8 or 9 every night, like, that's difficult. That's just, it's an area that he's going to have to work on. And whether it's here in the NHL level, if he goes back to Abbotsford and gets a chance to work again with Manny Malhotra, seems like a smart guy that wants to improve his game and round it out. Well, that's an area that Max Sasson is going to have to find a way to get better. Yeah,
and that's going to help him stick in the NHL for a lot longer, right? He's a guy. I mean, you mentioned 25 or younger. He's the Canucks guy that's 25 or right in that age, right? To be someone that can propel himself to be an everyday NHLer. And faceoffs and taking faceoffs, center ice is such an important position. Premiums are paid for center icemen in the NHL. You got to get a little bit better. You got to go back to work here.
Super chat from Ethan. Love Demko, deserves better. The bottom line is Petey and Quinn have to step up. The injuries suck, but neither of them are elevating those around them. Another super chat coming from someone. Got to sign your super chats. Thanks for the therapy sessions. I was so mad by the middle of the third. The only thing I was waiting for was the clock to tick down so I could rant in the Rink Wide chat. Well, we're glad that you found us, joined us here, made your contribution to the BC Mental Health Foundation. So go outside, go for a long walk, get a little fresh air. There'll be more games ahead starting on Saturday. 4 o'clock start, by the way. They got the early slot on Hockey Night in Canada, and then regular 7 o'clock start on Sunday with the Oilers in town.
There's a lot of hockey left to be played this season. Quite a bit of hockey left to be played this season, but that's why I love doing this show, because we do it based on what they give us that night or that evening or that afternoon or whatever it is. And what they gave us against the Nashville Predators wasn't very good. Top to bottom, they need to be better, and they know that.
All right, let's get to the stat that stands out. We like to pick through the numbers after each and every game here on Rink Wide. Stat that stands out is delivered by Uber Eats, and Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. Now, listen up, because every time the Canucks are at home, and they're home for 3 here coming up, you can get a buy one, get one 6-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's in Vancouver only on Uber Eats. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip before, during, or after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Hashtag crave the stats. And the stat that stands out, and you might want to cover your eyes if you're watching the live stream and you see the graphic there. Vancouver was outscored 10-2 to end this road trip. From the point they had the 4-0 lead in Washington on Sunday afternoon, they got outscored 10-2. So, yes, they had outscored their opponents 11-5 to get that lead in Washington. That part was good. But after the midway mark of the second period there in Washington on Sunday, and that's when Hedl was out of the game and Lecker-Mackey left and Teddy Bluger left a little bit later than that. Certainly there was some attrition here, but gave up 3 late in the hockey game to Washington, gave up 5 the other night to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and here 2 to the Nashville Predators. You add it all up, and the Vancouver Canucks get outscored 10-2 to finish up the road trip. So that's a concern as you come back home. 3-2 on the road trip is great, but if we break it up in sort of to compartments, the going was good early on. The back half of the road trip, not really passing with flying colors. So there you go. The stat that stands out, and we do it on every episode, is a presentation of Uber Eats. Hard to win with 1 goal.
Well, and just even furthering that a little bit. So 4-0, the second period mark, end of the second period. That means they played 7 periods of hockey where they weren't good. We can't look at any of these games in the past 2 and 1/3 and say that they played a really good period of hockey.
And I think objectively, if you go back to the first 3 games where they were 1-2, you could make the argument that really they only played 1 or 2 good periods the first 9 of the season. So,
like, if you want to simplify it right down, get through a period.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why, again, Thatcher Demko doing his part to keep them in games, to deliver victories. He can't save them all. And he came close. Because we haven't really even discussed the game-winning goal, and I do want to get to it because I thought there were a couple of interesting things on that sequence. One is that, again, the puck doesn't have to hit the back of the net. It just has to cross the goal line. And that was painful to watch in real time, and then all the replays as well, as that puck kind of bounces around. Cole Smith able to shovel it to the front of the net. Thatcher Demko, like, he tries to reach back, and it looks, I don't know if his stick got caught up in something, but he wasn't able to extend fully. Marcus Pettersson, a split second late as he dives in, but by then you could definitely see daylight between the goal line and the puck. The issue here was Pio Joseph. Like, that's his guy, Cole Smith, and he's fronting him first of all, and then as he tries to turn around, he can't tie him up, and he doesn't try and move him out of the way, and 2 games for Pio Joseph, and there have been a few too many plays already that I haven't loved, and I don't love that one, and that turns out to be a pretty pivotal point in the hockey game as the Predators get what turns out to be the game-winning goal.
Yeah, the game against Pittsburgh, I kind of, was going to give him a break a little bit. First game after playing for quite some time was injured, but this one, you got your feet wet, and you played, and you are an NHL player. Wasn't good enough. Wasn't boxing out guys good enough in front of the net either, getting moving guys out of the way. Was getting pushed around a little bit too easily by the Preds, trying to get that net front presence and gain positioning. Joseph got worked a little bit, and unfortunately for him, his ice time showed. Only played just over 10 minutes in this hockey game. I mean, I know Willander's up there, and it's great, and maybe there's a reason why they didn't want to play him in this game, first National Hockey League game. They knew it could have been ugly, one of these, grind-out types of games, but now the more and more I think about it, Mancini might play back-to-back.
Yeah.
Right? He might play Friday in Abbotsford and Saturday against the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, there's a couple of moving parts here.
Yeah, there's obviously cap stuff. But
Derek Forbert, we don't know. Like, he went from maintenance day to now 2 weeks out of the lineup, and there's just been no update whatsoever. So I'm not expecting that he's going to be ready when they come off this road trip, but maybe he will. I don't know. And you're right, Abbotsford, they raised the banner out in the Fraser Valley. Big night of hockey. Mancini has to play a game in order to be eligible to be recalled. So he's going to play, and he'll probably play a lot for Abbotsford on Friday night. They've got Ontario in for the big banner raising, so it should be a fun night of hockey there. Meanwhile, the Canucks getting ready to take on Montreal and Edmonton. So we'll see. We don't know much about Teddy Bluger and his situation. Getting Brock back was good. Ultimately, it didn't help in the offensive generation or goal-scoring department, but you want Brock Besser in there, and so we'll see where it goes. But in terms of, is Victor Mancini going to be the difference for the Vancouver Canucks? Probably not, but I do think that fans probably would prefer to see some of the youth get an opportunity here. DPD, I thought actually DPD
wasn't bad.
Yeah, there was a shift in the second period where he blocked a couple of shots. You could see he was in some distress, but he fought through it, trying to be physical in the hockey game. There were moments on the road trip that I thought he looked a little bit shaky, and I wondered if at some point he might come right out and sit him down. But I was glad to see him bounce back, and I want to see him play with that edge. So it wasn't a great night for Marcus Pettersson. Took a couple penalties for the Canucks. They didn't get scored on, but still, I don't know where Pio Joseph ultimately slots in. I'm with you. 2 games, it's hard to judge the guy, but he didn't have a great preseason either. Mm-hmm. And so, if they were going to call Mancini back up, it's not just, he's got to get a game in Abbotsford. They need a roster spot.
Yeah.
They don't want Tom Willander sitting for long stretches, so I do wonder if you
I think Willander goes down.
Get him to play a game out in Abbotsford, and maybe it's as simple as that, and we'll see what happens. Mancini could play back-to-back. Playing 3 nights in a row, you're probably asking for some diminishing returns by Sunday if he plays Friday in the AHL and then 2 games in the... So that's probably not going to happen. Again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. They can't worry about Sunday right now. Their attention is going to have to be on trying to respond to back-to-back losses against a Montreal team that, again, can scoot around the ice, has some real top-end talent the way that they're going, and they're working the Oilers have a 5-3 lead in the third period as we do this live stream.
I won't ask you what you like and what you didn't like because we can bypass that one. I'll go with, do you think probably having a day off tomorrow and then not having a morning skate, you think that helps or hurts them a little bit?
I think coming off a long road trip that there clearly is some fatigue, and again, there a bit of an imbalance in the ice times that the top guys that are playing a fair bit, I think they have to use the rest and focus and be ready to go. A peculiar 4:00 start on Saturday, but you go back over the years against the Leafs and those 4:00 starts, Canucks have owned Toronto. Everybody thought, schedule's all for Toronto's favor, the early start, all that kind of. But the Canucks have responded and they've played really well in those early starts. They just won an early start in Washington. So for me, I think it's more about resting up. Coaching staff would probably tell you they would love some practice time, but again, in a stretch of 7 games and 11 nights, and that's where they are. They're 5 games in, 2 to come here on the weekend. It's some video work, I'm sure. There won't be a morning skate for a 4:00 start, and then with the back-to-backs, won't be a morning skate on Sunday. Monday's probably a day off after playing consecutive games, and then JT and his crew are in on Tuesday night, and that's going to be an emotional night as well. So it's a quick 3-game and 4-night homestand for the Vancouver Canucks, and again, it's not going to get easier, and nobody around the National Hockey League is going to feel sorry for the Vancouver Canucks.
No.
They just got to find a way to roll up their sleeves and get to work. This segment of Rink Wide, speaking of getting to work, Pacific Toyota dealers, they get the job done, and so does the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid. It's a no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. Drive up to 72 kilometers on battery alone, and that's enough to get you from downtown to the rink to the grocery store and then home to recharge. Seamlessly transitions from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. It's loaded with tech that's actually easy to use, and there are plug-in stations, 2,000 public charging stations in BC alone. Right now, you can lease a 2025 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $99 weekly at 3.49% APR for 64 months with $3,600 down, and it includes a $3,000 discount. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today.
We're going to hear from Quinn Hughes at some point here. It's going to be short, but I just wanted to bring something up. Elliot Friedman wrote his 32 thoughts.
Yep.
Just released it. So he said, number 7, in their search for a center, Canucks have made it clear they don't want to move their 2026 first-round pick. So far, they've held to that, and we'll see where things go. So they're not willing to give up their first-round pick in next year's draft in order to get some help.
I'm curious about the wording there. He says so far they've held to that.
So far they've held to that, yeah.
And it's the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, and I don't think that the Canucks ultimately are going to be front runners for Gavin McKenna, but if the bottom does fall out and they elect to make moves. We'll see what happens. I would think that if they were somehow going to trade their first rounder in 2020, it would have to be lottery protected.
Absolutely.
It simply has to be. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, it's clear that management is making phone calls, and I know you've talked about some of the names that are out there. Alex Wenberg, thought it was really interesting. The Sharks beat the Rangers on the back of all the kids. Celebrating had the hat trick, and Will Smith, he got the winner. Eklund as well. But Alex Wenberg played 22 and a half minutes. I mean, we're so focused on ice time right now in these parts. And Alex Wenberg played 22 and a half minutes for the San Jose Sharks tonight in New York. Got power play time, got penalty killing time. I don't love the idea of giving up assets to get Alex Wenberg, who has had one decent scoring season in the NHL, and otherwise really has been middle of the road. He's 31 now. Sharks cast-off is somehow the answer to the Canucks' problems, and at what price, and all that kind of stuff. So, and he's not very good on face-offs. This is a guy that has never had a season in the NHL over 50%. Career like 46 and a half or something. So that's one of the issues the Canucks need in a center. I would like to think that that's something they would look for if they're going out and making a trade, a guy that can win you a draw or two. So put me down in the column of not in favor of Alex Wenberg, but it does feel like this management group is going to pull the trigger at some point on some kind of stopgap measure to help the hockey club.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Canucks did call the Sharks about Wenberg. I also think that Middlestat and Pavel Zacha are available in Boston. It's going to be really up to them. Right now, I think they're working in a position where teams know that they have a void, a pretty big one, and they need to fill. So the Canucks are going to have to overpay. Which one of these players are you feeling best that you need to overpay, and who do you think can best help your situation right now? I agree with you. I'm not entirely sure that Wenberg does it. Pavel Zacha, he's under contract for another year after this season at a pretty good number. But what is Boston going to want if they do want something, fairly significant from the Vancouver Canucks? So it's going to be interesting to watch here over the next little while what the Canucks decide to do, but it's no secret that they're looking.
Which of these flawed options do you want to pay a bunch for to help the Vancouver Canucks? That's kind of where they are, and they're over a barrel. The entire league knows that they are out there searching, and we'll see how desperate the Canucks get. 2 goals in 2 games. That's starting to smell like a little bit of desperation for some offensive help, although I don't know if Alex Wenberg is, if he qualifies. Zacha, I mean, that's a name obviously that's been out there through the summer months. They weren't prepared to pay whatever price if, in fact, the Bruins were willing to part with him during the offseason. So you can imagine now the Bruins know the Canucks are desperate and in need. Like, what does that do? The price just jacks up through the roof. All right, we've talked about Quinn Hughes a fair bit. Hasn't been a great start to the season for him individually. Hockey club goes 3-2 on the road, so they keep their head above water there. But they're 4-4 now on the season, and 500 ultimately isn't going to get it done over the course of an 82-game schedule. So shall we hear from the captain?
Let's hear from him.
Let's hear from Quinn Hughes.
Quinn, I know it's been a long road trip and probably not exactly the way you guys wanted to end it, but what did you see from your group out there tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, would have liked a better result, and I think we're all just ready to go home and have a good home start.
What is the key to when you get home, having a strong start with a back-to-back especially? I know it's been tiring one.
Probably just getting our sleep tonight and taking care of ourselves tomorrow. And then, I mean, I think Montreal and Edmonton, worried about them in 2 days' time and 3 days' time for Edmonton.
Max Hassan gets the lone goal tonight. He's got 3 in his last 5 games. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, it brings a lot of speed. Happy for him. It's a nice move there to anticipate that and then go 5-0, yeah.
Not what you guys were looking for on the shot clock, but you get a quality look there at the end to tie it up with Brock Besser. So is that kind of all you can ask for, is a good look at that point?
Yeah, I mean, 9 seconds left. Just try to get to the net.
Not a lot of answers to what ails the Vancouver Canucks here over the last couple of games from the captain. Frustrated, we talked about it on the ice, and just body language there, you can tell. None too pleased, but it is 8 games into a long season. And we keep saying, like, he is going to find a higher level. Is he going to magically overnight get to the levels that he was at to start last season and his Norris Trophy season? I don't know. I'm starting to wonder a little bit. I mean, the Predators, remember in the playoffs, the Predators did a pretty good job of neutralizing him, playing him hard. And that comes with the territory of being a star player in the National Hockey League. And not that Quinn shies away. I think stars and superstars want to believe that they can figure out a way to elevate and get around whatever other teams throw at them, and you hope that Quinn can arrive there. But I am starting to wonder if he is seeing different looks from other teams as they try to defend him, force him to move the puck into situations that maybe he would prefer not to. He's still getting his looks, though. I mean, 9 shot attempts again for Quinn Hughes, only 2 shots on goal, 29 minutes and 16 seconds, or if he played 11 minutes and 2 seconds in the first period with a ton of power play time, ineffective power play time, but power play time nonetheless. But still, 11 minutes and 2 seconds of the first period for the captain.
Well, I think a lot of teams are taking the Nashville Predators, a page out of Nashville Predators book when they played him in those playoffs. Kiefer Sherwood against his captain now was a wrecking ball. And last year he went nuclear mode and, obviously had a really, really, really good season. And, he probably would have won the Norris Trophy if it wasn't for, the injuries that he had and caused him to miss some games. But then this season, just looking now, we've mentioned, he hasn't really had it. He hasn't really had the jump off your seat, the edge of your seat, the watching, oh my God, Quinn Hughes has a puck. What's he going to do? That post-game presser looked like it was game 46, and they just got slaughtered 7-0. Like, it's game 8, right? And I think that as a captain of the team, you got to obviously lead by example a little bit, but it's going to be really fascinating to watch kind of what team shows up on Saturday.
Well, we always say Quinn's superpower is tilting the ice in the Canucks' favor. Well, that did not happen in this hockey game. At 5-on-5, the shot attempts, or actually the shots, forget the shot attempts, the shots on goal at 5-on-5 were 18-6 for the Predators with Quinn on the ice. So he's controlling 25% of the shots on goal at 5-on-5. That's not Quinn Hughes-like. And boy, did he have some company tonight. I know we did the stat that stands out. Jake DeBrusk, the struggle is real here. The shots were 10-1 for the Predators with Jake on the ice. That's not getting it done. Brock Besser, we talked about late buzzer beater chance for him, but the shots at 5-on-5, 13-3 in favor of the Predators. So on and on it goes. It was not a good night for just about anybody. Only a couple of guys, in fact, were able to, get out unscathed and keep the shots at 50%. Predators dominated this hockey game at 5-on-5, and that comes back to Thatcher Demko giving the Canucks the kind of goaltending that they needed to try to grind out a result. Alas, it didn't happen for them. They fall 2-1.
Yeah.
And we've got the head coach as well. So we heard from Quinn Hughes. You could tell that he wasn't thrilled with the way things played out at Bridgestone. Let's hear from Adam Foote at the end of the road trip.
Final game of this road trip, I know it doesn't fall your way, but your thoughts on the team's effort?
The effort was there for sure. It was an interesting game, always a hard game in here. They were grinding, and 5-on-5 was pretty even. And I think they had 3 power plays. We had 5. We had to find a way to get one on that 5-on-3. You guys know that. So maybe get some more pucks to the net.
Did you like any execution on the 5-on-3?
I just like to like they're gonna press us all night. The last 3 games, teams have been pressing us a lot on our power play. We got to move our feet. I think we have to move our feet a little bit more. That's why they're pressuring us and get a few more pucks to the net. We had some good looks, but it would be nice to get one there.
It hasn't been an easy road trip in terms of just rest, and you're going to go home and you got a back-to-back. What's the key to coming out strong in those ones?
Yeah, just we don't have much time to get our legs back for that, but it is a condensed season that we all are aware of, and we've been aware of it for a long time, and it's happening to every team, and every team's going to have their, tough week or tough 2 weeks, and this is a tough one for us, but we're going to be pros and get ready for the next one.
You were able to generate some chances at the end. It looked like Brock had one good look.
I had a really good look at the end. I'd have to watch it again. It looks like you got a lot of good wood on it, and it was right there, but not much we do.
Road trip as a whole, Adam?
It was a good road trip. It could have been a great road trip, but I mean, I liked a lot what happened. We were in some tough barns early, like 3.
There you go, the coach. And I like that. It was a good road trip. It could have been a great road trip, but I tend to agree with that. I think that kind of sums it up. 6 points out of 10. You'd take that just about any time over the course of a season, but when you have the 6 points in your back pocket after 3 games, you left a couple out there on the table for the Vancouver Canucks. And now, after back-to-back losses, it is how do you respond when you come on home here, because 2 losses can become a bunch more if they don't up their level of performance and ultimately their level of execution. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that they didn't work hard enough in this hockey game, but it does come down to moments, and in those moments, in this one, the Canucks they weren't good enough.
No, absolutely not. And you heard the head coach talk about the power play. Got to move their feet a little bit more. Got to get more pucks on net. Teams are playing them differently, and I think that they're pressing them a little bit more. Then if you're getting pressed on the power play, there's someone that's going to be open all the time. And it's just a matter of being able to find that extra guy. And, they have the guys and they have the players that should be able to have the vision to notice that and field that. So it's going to be a lot of video here, hopefully, for them over the next couple of days to try and sort it out.
Buck stops with Adam Foote. He's the head coach. But I do think that's an area where both Scott Young and Brett McLean, these are guys that have played in the NHL. Young has scored a bunch in the National Hockey League. McLean was a high scorer in junior. It can't all be on Adam Foote. You delegate, and the power play is under the eyes of those guys, and so it's on them. Again, yes, the Canucks are missing players, but on the power play, that's as good a 5-man unit as this Vancouver Canuck roster can produce, and so it's on those guys to find a way to figure it out, and we'll see if they can on Saturday against the Montreal Canadiens. Hey, make sure you're following Rink Wide on all of our socials, particularly the Rink Wide YouTube channel. We want you to subscribe to that because when the Canucks are home and practicing, and again, in this 3-game homestand, I don't think there's going to be much practice time. But as the season rolls on, when they're practicing, we're going to bring you all sorts of content from the rink, videos and player scrums and all that kind of stuff. So hit subscribe, set your notifications so that you do not miss a thing right here on the Rink Wide YouTube channel. All right, it's always fun when the Montreal Canadiens come to town and their fans, and you know that their fans are going to show up. Although I said they were working the Oilers earlier, goals galore around the National Hockey League.
It's crazy.
10 now. In that game, it's 5-5 as we do this. So a couple of quick power play strikes from the Edmonton Oilers, Draisaitl and the Nuge, both of them getting their 5th of the season. So it was 5-3 Montreal. Now it's 5-5. Add it to this pile of games that it's 7-6 or 7-5 and 6-5, and here's 5-5, and obviously it's not going to end in a 5-all tie. So this Montreal team's explosive. They won a tight one in Calgary. This is back-to-back for them, the second leg of their back-to-back, and they've found their offense. Nick Suzuki came into this game with 11 points. He was one of a handful of guys in the league to already have 10 assists, so he's delivering. Cole Caulfield with 5 goals in the early going. Ivan Demidov's first visit to Vancouver. I think everybody looking forward to seeing him in person. And how about Lane Hudson and Quinn Hughes sharing the same sheet of ice? There's only one puck out there.
Yeah.
And they both love to have it. So, I'm looking forward to seeing Lane Hudson. And we should mention Brendan Gallagher at the age of 33. Like, how many more times will he get the opportunity to come on home? I don't think he's done, and I'm not trying to run him out of the league, but at 33, even he has to know that if he stays in Montreal and it's a once-a-year thing, there'll only be a handful of these. So I'm sure he will soak it all in and be his usual noticeable self.
Yeah.
Making things happen out there for the Montreal Canadiens. But they're going. The Habs came into this night 6-2 on the season, and a chance perhaps to push that to 7-2 here if they can get another goal or win it in overtime or a shootout. So Montreal's rolling, and that's going to be a handful for the Vancouver Canucks.
No, absolutely. Brendan Gallagher obviously loves playing here.
Yeah.
Going to have a bunch of people in attendance watching him, but you're right. I mean, how many more times is he going to get to come here in Vancouver? As you mentioned, still under contract, but you can bet that this one's always circled on his calendar.
For sure. Yeah. As we wrap up on the live stream, people that are listening on the podcast, you'll have to go figure out how that game ended. We're not sticking around to continue, but what a crazy night in the National Hockey League. So hopefully the Canucks can get in on some of this scoring fun at some point. But again, it's going to come down to those guys that we have talked about: Pettersson, Hughes, DeBrusk, Kane. They're the ones. They're the guys that have to sort it out and figure it out for the Vancouver Canucks. You love some secondary scoring. You take the goals that you're getting from Max Sasson, 3 in 5 games. That's a terrific story. We'll see if he's not going to keep up that pace. I think he's got his 3 goals on 6 shots. So he's not shooting 50% all season long, but with his speed, he's going to create chances, and he's got enough offensive skill there to finish at this level. This is a guy that scored 3 goals in 29 games for the Vancouver Canucks last year. He got 3 in 5 now already this season. So nice start for him. And he took getting cut out of training camp, took it the right way, went down, scored a couple early goals for Abbotsford, played his way back here. And the way he's going right now, and with the lack of center ice depth, the opportunity will continue to present itself for Max Sasson, and he seems to have grasped it. We'll see if some of those other guys ahead of him on the depth chart can do the same thing.
Yeah, make the most of your opportunity, and that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, he's a guy that, like you said, took it the right way. He could have, buried his head down in the sand and been pissed and, thought that he should have made this team and things like that, but he went down there, has been a professional. He's young still, 25 years old, and he's looking for a spot to maybe be in this lineup a little bit more permanently.
Well, somehow, some way, we managed to talk for an hour about a hockey game that had all of 3 goals, and those were the talking points of that power play. But hey, that's what we do. We work with the material that's presented on a game night. You're taking the weekend off.
Yes, I am gonzo, but I will, before the weekend comes, there is a Friday, and there are some games that need to be played on Friday in the National Hockey League. So our segment here is brought to you by Bet365. Jacob, I totally forgot what I bet. There you go. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
He's got you.
You got me. Toronto Maple Leafs. The Columbus Blue Jackets at home. I like them as a home dog. I always have. Last year they were a really good team at home. And the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are a wagon. They are a very good hockey team. And the Calgary Flames are not. So you put those 3 together, and that's some pretty good odds there on Bet365. Whatever your bet is, never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get in on the game, use code NATION, Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly.
All right, Canucks drop back-to-back games to finish up the road trip. They are 3-2 on the trip, 4-4 on the season. Max Sasson with their lone goal, and Thatcher Demko did his part, makes 33 saves on 35 Nashville shots. But it wasn't to be for the Vancouver Canucks as they fall 2-1 to the Predators in Music City, USA. For Jacob Lazar and Jacob Fraser, who's here as well, double duty tonight behind the scenes. For Irf, enjoy your weekend off. You'll be back for the JT night on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, I'll be back for that one.
Yeah, you will. I think we've got PJ coming in. Tyson Cole's going to get one of the nights as well. So we'll be here for you after each and every Vancouver Canucks game for Irf. I'm Jeff. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of Rink Wide Vancouver.